You have a background in finance.
Yeah, I started off, I was pretty young working on Wall Street.
Mm.
Just where I was working, it was a lot of like entertaining clients, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
And so, you're going out a lot, you have to do these big dinners all the time, you're exhausted. And I've always been kind of a creative guy. And there was obviously no room for being creative. I think if I was working for a hedge fund or something like that, I probably would have stayed. But
What kind of ads were you writing, if you don't mind me asking?
no, no. I mean, it was like, the big TV spot I got produced when I was there. I wasn't there for very long, but like it was like a big, TV commercial for Duracell. I was writing, tweets for Mercedes Benz and Listerine. And there's a saying in finance where, if you're early, you might as well be wrong. And I think over my personal career, because I've been trading, my own little portfolio ever since I was 18, and I've been consistently too early, and the system at large has proven to be much more resilient than I thought it would be. And for the dollar and its status as a reserve currency, however you stand on the war in Ukraine, the fact is, when we seized Russia's US Treasury holdings, we basically just stole dollars from them. And we cut them out of the SWIFT banking network. And that sent a big warning flare up to all the other countries out there that use dollars in their reserve currency to say, hey, if one day in the future you get on the wrong side of the United States, your dollars aren't safe.
The United States is going to federal now. I think it's federal Fed now. They are
Fed now.
Fed now. They're creating their own currency,
Mm-hmm.
which I think it's smart, right? Because seeing what the
Smart for who? It's
listen,
not.
Jordan, our money is already digital.
Sure, but it can be converted into cash. Fed now can't.
Here's what I want to talk to you about also. Um, we are both on TikTok, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I wasn't, I'm not on it to the point where if it goes away, I'm concerned. But here's what I'm concerned about: this Restrict Act, right?
Yeah.
You covered it a little bit. Unpack this for me.
Yeah. So, basically, the Restrict Act is ostensibly a bill put forward to ban TikTok, but TikTok's not even mentioned in there. Most people didn't know where, couldn't point to Ukraine on a map before 2022. And if you can go back and find dozens and dozens of articles from all of these, New York Times, Washington Post, the Journal, all railing against Ukraine for the last decade about how it was the most corrupt country in the world, how it had a huge Nazi problem. And then fast forward to 2022 and it's Slava Ukraini, they're the good guys, but it's a hopelessly corrupt country. And, in these leaked papers that just came out, it seems that they have been skimming to the tune of $400 million.
Russia's been pretty civil in this whole war situation.
Well, I think the U.S. is, we're like masters of taking it up to that point and then not crossing the line. But, Russia has been making moves that are not like military in nature to weaken us. And you see that with the overtures to Xi Jinping, their overtures to India, and they're trying to solidify an alternative global economic paradigm away from the US. This isn't a Marvel movie, right? There's no good guys and bad guys. It's just a huge mess of countries who are all looking out for themselves. And it's a game of power and it's a game of influence. And if the European bloc starts to see an alliance with the US as less advantageous than a move maybe a half step closer to Russia and the BRICS. If that secures their place in the world better, then that's the direction they'll go. So the real question is what should we do to avoid that? Because I don't want to lose the Europeans as much as the next guy. You know, they're Western democracies, you know, the liberal order. And I think that is a force for good in the world, as much of a joke as it may be. It's still better than, you know, dictatorships. So I think we should do everything in our power, you know, to not push Europeans away. You know, you could say Macron is out of pocket, but maybe it's us who are out of pocket for kind of forcing his hand.